Hey everyone, welcome to Sleepy Builds. Today we're starting a new build, the LEGO Speed Champions McLaren F1 Team MCL38. And while we slowly build this model, I thought it would be fun to talk a little about the history of McLaren Formula One team. McLaren is actually one of the most legendary teams in Formula One history. So while we build the first section of this LEGO car, we'll also go through how McLaren became one of the biggest names in racing. Alright, let's open the box. Inside the box consists a total of 6 paper bags and delivery stickers and instructions for build it. So just sit back, relax, and enjoy the history about McLaren F1 team. Also, special shout out to my girlfriend cause she has bought me this LEGO set. Thank you for the Valentine's Day gift, and let's enjoy the build. The story of McLaren begins with a driver named Bruce McLaren. He was a racing driver from New Zealand and he founded the team in the 1960s. Back then, Formula One was very different from today. Cars were simpler, safety was limited, and many teams were still experimenting with designs. Bruce McLaren wasn't just a driver, he was also an engineer, an innovator. He believed that a racing team should constantly experiment and improve. That philosophy eventually became the foundation of the McLaren racing team. McLaren entered Formula One in 1966, but their first big success came a few years later. In 1968, Bruce McLaren himself won the team's first Formula One race. That victory was a huge milestone. It proved that a relatively young team could compete against some of the biggest manufacturers in motorsport. Unfortunately, Bruce McLaren passed away in 1970 during testing, but the team he created continued growing and eventually became one of the most successful teams in racing history. In the late 1970s and 1980s, McLaren became a dominant force in Formula One. During this era, the team worked with legendary drivers like Ayrton Senna and Alain Prost. Their rivalry is still considered one of the greatest rivalries in motorsport history. Driving for the team, they won multiple championships and helped establish McLaren as a powerhouse in Formula One. The cars from that era were famous for their red and white liveries, which looked very different from today's orange McLaren colors. But the competitive spirit of the team has always remained the same. Over the years, Formula One technology has evolved dramatically. Cars have become faster, safer, and far more advanced. McLaren has gone through many ups and downs throughout the decades. There were championship-winning years and also difficult seasons where the team struggled. But in recent years, the team has been rebuilding and improving again. That brings us to the modern McLaren era and the car we're building today. The McLaren MCL38 represents McLaren's newest generation of Formula One cars. It features the modern papaya, orange, and black livery that has become the team's signature look. This car is designed to compete against some of the strongest teams in Formula One today. And just like the original cars built by Bruce McLaren, innovation and engineering are still at the heart of the team. It's pretty amazing how that legacy continues all the way into modern racing. that's going to be it for part 1 of this build. So far, we've started building the base of the McLaren MCL38. And we've also taken a quick look at the history of McLaren Formula One team. In the next part, we'll continue the build and maybe talk a bit more about McLaren's modern drivers and racing achievements. Thanks for hanging out, and I'll see you in the next Sleepy Build.